Hello and welcome to Star Wars Saturdays. Star Wars Saturdays is a living campaign that I've been running for since December of 2017, I believe, quite a while. And it is set in Star Wars, hence the name, in the original trilogy timeline. We're currently playing around events of Return of the Jedi, although this is a bit of a shift in our normal setting because I've decided to throw it out to the Tapani Sector, which, if you don't know what that means, don't worry. Star Wars Saturdays every month, choose a different RPG, and members of the Gauntlet community and I get together, make characters, and tell a whole new story. Sometimes characters will reappear from previous games, but we all often have a changing cast of characters and players, so I do my best to keep it open and welcoming, and then we'll tie things together as we can. This is Warbirds, which was originally created and kickstarted, I believe, 2013 by Outrider Studios. And the Kickstarter did pretty well, but it was set in the 40s, and it was supposed to be about flying aces who have fame, like comic books and movies about them, and they're all members of this guild. There was a Rocket Age supplement that came out for Warbirds, but it mostly just renamed things and then kind of had a gloss on how things work for Warbirds in the future. So I've used those two supplements to push it into Star Wars. Started off just replacing the word planes with starfighters, but realized that there's a lot more that I needed to do. So you guys will be the first to play this version of Warbirds. I will say that the end that it's quite a bit simpler, and I'll show you how I made it simpler, because I just kept the Warbirds part that I really liked, which is all of the stuff in the air, which for you guys would be in space. So I'm going to do a lot of jumping over to the Google Character Keeper that I've created for you guys, and then we're going to walk through character. First, we're going to walk through the general pieces of the game that you need to fill in. And then I'll be around to help you with any questions that you may have. So I'm going to start off by disappearing and showing you a giant spreadsheet because that's who I am. All right. So in order to create your pilot, all you need to do are, I've highlighted in yellow the things that you need to actually change. So as you can see, there's not a whole lot. A lot of these things are automated to get you different stats and the like. Oh, crap. I meant to make that yellow. Dang it. So you need to select one of those, and one of those. So to start off and create your character, there are a few things you need to do. Of course, I gave you guys the options of creating using whatever species you would like. Tapani Sector is a primarily human-centric world, but you guys are amazing guild pilots. If you want to be non-humans, go for it. It's Star Wars. Why would I care? Now, the species, totally up to you. Humans get a little bit of a benefit because these guys are, there's a big, heavy Imperial influence in Tapani Sector, but they haven't thrown themselves completely in, so you've got the opportunity there. The next thing that you'll choose, just kind of, you've got to drop down here for the different houses and the free worlds. If you want to do a little bit of research on the houses, over here we have the Tapani house info, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of stuff. But look at the cool symbols, guys. The short version is that each of the houses have their own sets of values, kind of their personality archetypes. And if you're like, oh crap, I don't care about any of those guys, you can totally be from the free worlds who have never been members of any of the houses. However, the free worlds recently have been invaded and taken over by the Galactic Empire. So it has been renamed the Tapani Sector, which, so if you're a free worlder who's a member of the guild, then your homeland is now under Imperial control. There are leaders for each of the houses. Each of the houses have allies. These guys have been around for centuries, and then they have enemies. There are some cool notes here. We are not going to get extremely deeply into house politics. It will have an influence on some of the contracts that you take. And if you're super interested in it, then it may influence some of the role playing. But if you just choose a house because the symbol looks cool, that's totally okay too. So that's over here in the Tapani house info. It's a lot to read. That's why I shot you guys the keeper early. But don't worry if you just see one thing that looks cool and that's why you pick the house. We'll work it in. If you want general information on the Tapani sector, this is the look, and this is also in our Roll for Your Party link. This is the info on Tapani sector. The Massetti and Melantha are the most enthusiastic supporters of the New Order, but Massetti and Melantha are kind of they're the two big dogs. Everybody else falls in line around those guys. We, of course, have our species info in case you want to grab some names. And those all correspond to the dropdown, so that should take care of you there. If you have any questions about those species, feel free. I have added the feline because some people were interested in the feline characters, but everybody else you should remember from previous sessions of Star Wars Saturdays. Don't worry about the dogfighting and strafing rules. We'll hit those as we get to it. And then the thing where you should thank me is that I looked at the 3 main stats for your pilot, which were in the Warbirds world, body, mind, and spirit. I have renamed body, mind, and the Force because it's Star Wars, and why not? And everything about the will and faith of your character for spirit just totally maps over. So there you go. To create that character, all 3 stats have a default value of 0, which is average. You have 1 stat point to increase one of your stats to a +1. You can also lower stats to a maximum of -2. So basically, you need these 3 stats to add up to a 1. You can go take something all the way up to a -2. In this game for dogfighting and strafing, you'll be rolling a d6 plus some other stats here. So you won't be using these stats a whole lot in dogfighting. You're going to be using them in the ground pounding rules, which the ground pounding rules are very familiar to Roll of Dungeons because that's all it is. You roll 2d6 plus body, mind, or the Force, and you're looking for 7 or greater. Easy peasy, my friends. Trust me, I took out an entire chapter of 30+ pages of rules of drowning and falling and auto fire, and we don't need that stuff. I just wanted the Warbirds part of flying in space, and that's what we've got. So, what you want to do, species, house, which you can save for last if you want. Get these things to add up to a +1. That will, the hit points are actually your health times 3. And so these are derived or secondary stats. And if you want to see how they work, here are the pieces that you have. There's a stat called fame. Everybody's going to start with fame of 2. We'll deal with fame as we play. It's pretty cool. The next thing that you change is your piloting skills. Everything starts with a 1, and all 4 of the starfighter-based skills, you get 2 additional points and a starting skill cap of level 2, which means 2 of your skills will be 1, and the other 2 will be 2. The differences between these, gunnery covers lasers, plasma cannons, and railguns. Ordnance covers heavy weapons shot at an enemy, like heat-seeking missiles, rockets, and torpedoes. Piloting is for dogfighting. Strafing is for attacking stationary, that's the word I was looking for, stationary targets. Like taking out a Death Star would be strafing. You actually have to track your kills, but that's how you make levels in this world. I'm going to stop here and just make sure that is all of your pilot's information. Does anyone have any questions about the stats or piloting skills, which are the things that you change, or any of the secondary stats that we've taken a look at?
So the secondary stats are automatically calculated, correct?
Yes.
And the piloting skills, how many points do we have to add in?
2.
Fantastic.
And I've tried to put little pop-ups here to help out, but feel free to ask questions because maybe they don't make sense. listening to some sweeping John Williams music in the background as I watch you guys play with stats and stuff. But if you have questions, just let me know. And of course, up here, your character name and their pronouns and your call sign. That's right, you're a pilot. You have to have a call sign. If you have trouble coming up with a call sign, I'll help you. If you call yourself Ace, everyone will mock you. I'm just telling you, everyone will mock you. But I'm going to pause on ship name and all the Warbird creation stuff until everybody's comfy with their characters. I'm really digging the breakdown, Sabine. That is it the force of 2? Holy crap. Look over here, Steven's force of -2. I love it.
Rich, do you mind if I add in a weirdo race?
What are you thinking about?
Do you already have the spreadsheet populated with races and they have like stats and stuff?
What do you mean by stats?
Well, I mean, does it modify the other things in the sheet?
No, there's no statistical. It's just a gloss.
Sweet. I was thinking about going with a character with a race called, I don't know how to pronounce it, XEXTO, which is one of the pod racers from episode 1.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we haven't seen one of those before.
All right, well, let me turn off the data validation for you, so you can just put in whatever you want.
Awesome.
So to go against type, I think I'm gonna play a Wookiee.
I saw that and I was like, is that a mistake? Did Blaze just accidentally choose Wookiee? Isn't that playing a Trandoshan? I love it.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's totally cool. Awesome. I love it.
Awesome.
Now, another thing to keep in mind about the original Warbirds that I want to keep true here is that not only do you have fame, which is important, you can add fame to once per session, you can add your fame to a role. But you also have sponsorships, and it makes it easier to get better guild contracts and interact with the public. There is also the risk of a scandal. And if you are under a scandal, until you resolve that scandal, the fame that you have, your total fame, is a subtraction to all roles, social roles. So it cuts both ways.
Okay, Rich, I changed my mind. Can you change the species back? I'm going to pick a different one from the list.
You bet, man.
Yeah.
So it's going to say human, but you just choose what you want.
Perfect.
There you go. And of course, as usual, if you find a URL for your picture, you drop it in here, it'll pop up there. But if you're more comfortable just inserting an image, you go right for it. That's fine with me. I've tried to make things easier for the Warbirds pictures, and I've made you guys like a miniature Pinterest because I love you guys. Oh, Akitochi, you're awesome. Nice choice. Ooh, nice call sign, Oracle. I dig it. I also like Jungle Bush. That is just crazy. You're definitely going to have certain themes to your sponsorships. Jungle Bush. I'll get it to work for you. Don't worry. This one? Is that the pick place?
Because it's a link to Pinterest.
Yeah, I've got it. I can make it happen.
Okay, thank you. Here
You
you
need
go.
you just need to get to the one where it's got a JPG at the end. You know. There we go.
Perfect. So I have this. I don't know. There's no weird questions during character creation. If I wanted to have um, either a robot translator or an automatic translator around my neck,
Totally cool.
that would be okay. It'd be kind of
That's
like
awesome.
it's very anti Star Wars because in Star Wars everybody understands Wookiee, but for this character like I don't see. I want him to like care enough, or he's adapted to a world that like if this world is bending towards the Empire, it shows that he's gonna have to make the effort to speak common or whatever.
I love it. It's called Basic, and yes, in fact, it's not even anti-Star Wars. There's in the most recent Battlefield computer games, there's an Aqualish, you know, the Walrus Men dudes. There's an Aqualish who has this like big. I'm hand gesturing because you can't see me, but I swear I am. Anyway, it looks like a neck brace type thing, except it's metallic and it's a vocoder. So he talks in his weird Aqualish things, and then the voice comes out. So it's canon, and I love it anyway. So I love it.
Perfect, thank you.
Make it happen. That is a great pick, Sabine. Callie Arain. Is it Arain, or how do you say your last name? Did you answer me on mute, Sabine?
Irain is fine, but you rather prefer it if you called her Kelly, and I found another pick. I'm sorry. This is too thoughtful for what I have.
It does look super thoughtful, but a 2/4. I mean, I buy it.
No, I don't. I want.
Oh, it's a great pick.
Yeah, she's like more like a very aware hothead, really.
Nice.
She's just tied into this. I have had this force sensitivity in mind because I wanted to play something force sensitive for once.
I love it. I love it. So you're playing Barnaba. I love the Barnabas. Hedonistic in nature. They want only the best of everything for themselves. Barnaba is content to play one house against the other. They'd rather establish fashion trends, discover fads, causes, and so on. Perfect. As soon as I put Barnaba up, I'm like, please, someone choose a Barnaba. Sweet. Okay. So it looks like everybody has. Oh, are you going to leave yours? You still need to make adjustments on stats there, Blaze, for Jungle Bush.
Sorry, I was just reading the houses.
Sorry, it's okay. My bad. I don't want to rush you. Oh, someone's working ahead. Look down here and you're, oh, yeah.
I was gonna go House Cade. Is it Cadrian?
Mm-hmm.
The mercantile house.
Yeah, they're cool.
They're pretty cool. But then I'm also itching towards the free worlds. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go a bit like libertarian and say free worlds.
Okay, we've got 2 free worlders. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, somebody from the free worlds? Oh,
yeah, our Iktochi's from Free World.
How do you describe your relationship with the free world? I just want to know like where you stand, so I don't.
Yeah, the only reason I took that was because I thought that it would be easier for the free worlds to take an alien race.
Oh, yeah, fair. Fair.
Nice pick. Oh, even in a cockpit with explosions behind him. Perfect. Oh, this is great. I'm getting so stoked. Now, one of the reminders for you guys, this is where you hail from. That's the house that you were before you joined the guild. The guild, which is has a bunch of different names, but is always referred to as the guild. The guild is the organization of starfighter pilots that you guys have joined. They are by far the most famous, the most lucrative, the most technologically advanced of all starfighters in the Tapani and Tapani sectors, and they consider themselves completely neutral. When you join the guild, you officially renounce your allegiance to your house or the free worlds. Now, of course, pilots always have long memories, and that can cause some problems, but you're expected to take the contracts that you're given. So, just to make that nice and clear for you, friends. I'm going to jump ahead here. Let's take a look. Don't forget you've got 2 points to drop into piloting skills. But I am going to move ahead to talk about your warbirds. So each of your warbirds get a name. You guys are you're rooks, so you're getting warbirds that have performance, a predetermined armor and performance. But if you take a look over here in the warbird gallery and squads, you'll see that I have some cool pictures of a bunch of different awesome looking potential warbirds. I tried to get you as many as possible. All you have to do is just grab that URL right there, paste it into the image URL, and it'll pop in for your ship. Once you've chosen your ship, everybody has the same starting armor, performance, and structure. That's your hit points. You just need to choose your primary weapon, either light or heavy lasers or plasma cannons. Your heavy weapon, railgun, heat seekers, or torpedoes. And those all have different infos that will pop in. These are automatically generated. You don't have to change anything. Although, if you have a trait, which we'll talk about in just a second, it may affect your accuracy here. So you'll just need to put in whatever the accuracy bonus is for that when you do it. Your stunt, break, shoot, escape, those are all automatically. So the last thing that you need to choose after you've done the primary and heavy weapons is to choose one gunnery and or ordnance trait, one dogfighting or strafing trait, and one general trait. And that's how you will modify your warbird to start.
Are we free to pick any image of a spaceship?
Yeah, if you've got a different image of a starfighting spaceship that you like better, go for it. I just tried to save some time, but if you've got one like you're itching to use, go for it. But it should be a single pilot starfighter style craft. Don't pick like a Corellian Corvette, because then that you're not really a just don't. Another picture. Look at you, Sabine. I like that picture a lot, though. That's a good choice. I mean, I know I recognize the character, but I love it anyway, and this is totally okay.
I find it funny that you have two of the images that I was looking for in your thing.
That's awesome. that kind of makes me happy. I just realized there's the stat I didn't stick in there. I'll do that just now. K4 5511K.
It's short for Kashyyyk.
I'm so dumb. That's perfect. If you're all done with your stuff and just waiting on other people to catch up to you, I would direct you to take a look, if you're bored, at the dogfighting video. It's about 3.5 minutes, but it's not required because I have a pretty good working knowledge of how that goes. Is everybody? Oh, Pepper. What a great name. Wraith. These are awesome. Actually, it looks like everybody's pretty close, coming along pretty well. Good, good.
So, Rich, there's a highlighted stat under defense called stunt.
Yeah, so some traits will bonus particular stunts, so that's just there as a reminder in case you're doing the thing. That's all. I wasn't sure how best to represent. Like, don't forget that as you're doing a stunt, you need to think about any of the traits that you have that might benefit your stunt.
I'm just looking at chips. Give me 2 seconds.
My best efforts are trying to keep people from going down a Pinterest hole.
I wanted to ask, what's the timeline?
Return of the Jedi timeline. So more specifically, Jabba has been murdered by rebel terrorists, but that's like on the other end of the galaxy. But the battle on Endor has not happened.
Okay.
Again, these are Rook ships. So if between this session and next session you're like, oh, I want a different Warbird, and you find a different picture, that's cool. Me too. So this is one of those games where I also roll dice, unfortunately, because you guys know how much I whine about that. But let me explain something real quick so that the damage makes a little bit more sense. The damage that you do to someone is the lead between your roll and their defense roll. So the two, you and I, if we're doing a thing and you'll roll a d6 and add some numbers to it, and I'll roll a d6 and add some numbers to it. We compare the totals, and if your shooting is higher than my trying to get out of your way, we look at the difference between those two numbers, and that's your lead. The damage for armament is lead plus a certain number. That's how much extra on top of that lead that you get. If you don't hit the target, if you don't beat my number, then you don't hit. Therefore, there's no lead. And then that lead plus whatever number is compared against my armor, and whatever is greater than my armor goes through and does structural damage to your target.
So in the piloting skills, when it says reserve 4, does that mean we can move them around, or?
Oh, good question. So what reserve is every session you start with a number of points of reserve equal to your highest skill plus 2. Your highest skill is a 2 at character creation. At any point during the game, when you're rolling a d6 to do a thing, you can spend points of reserve to increase that d6 roll.
Good, thank you.
There are also certain traits that require the expenditure of reserve to activate, like the high energy throughput underneath Oracle's ship Pepper, which by Pepper just tickles me to no end. But anyway, in order to activate the high energy throughput, Oracle has to spend a reserve to have the guns burn through something, and then Oracle will roll another d6, and it does more stuff.
Okay.
These pictures are amazing, guys, of your characters. I mean, and I already love the Starfighter pictures. That's why I put them there. But the character pics are great. Oh, and also the stunt plus is a D6 plus 1 type deal. Yeah, it's adding certain things, but if you stick a number in here for a trait bonus, then it will go up by the number that you're adding there. That's all this doing. Nothing super fancy, just something to try to help automate as much as possible, because this has a lot of mech, a lot of numbers, a lot of derived stats, which actually work better in a Google Character Keeper than they would on paper. I'm doing a last look over. I think people are pretty close. I'm going to differentiate that by like size of the font. So hopefully that'll. Okay. Okay, just got a few traits to choose, and I like Callie's character details are pretty cool. I'm digging this character.
Yeah, going home for some kind of celebration day is always a pain. She prefers to be out there because you will sooner or later the topics will start towards politics, and that's just not cool.
Well, cool. While Blaze is working through some of the ship traits, other than filling out your character details, the last thing that you need to choose is which squadron you guys are a member of, and it's a group decision. It's mostly role-playing opportunities, not necessarily any statistical impact, but I really like the squads, and these are, other than changing planes to starfighters, this is pretty much exactly like it is in Warbirds, because I thought these were pretty amazing. So the squads are the Gold Jaguars, the Red Foxes, the Blue Spiders, the Green Dragons, the Gray Falcons, and the Black Scorpions. And whichever squad you guys choose as a group, that's who you're starting out with. It will affect who your squadron leader is, which will be the person that's usually assigning you work. And it also talks a little bit about the history of that particular squadron, where they came from. They all have pretty different histories. And they also have cool little insignias. I mean, who doesn't love the little Jaguar? But we are on track for 1 hour of character creation, which I'm pretty pleased with.
Okay, I think I've got it. Heavy lasers, heat seekers, and then I have swarming heat seekers. Yeah, that's Jungle Bush. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's terrifying. I just cannot wait to see him come in with like heat seekers and swarming heat seekers and torpedoes. terrifying. I love it.
And some sort of 70s classic rock equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
Rich, have you ever played this before?
No, I have not.
Okay. Cool. I'm curious to see how it goes. But I can set things on fire. So
I have a feeling that's going to be good enough. Oh, man, that's awesome. Thank you for the X-Wing call signs. That is fantastic.
It was something I was struggling with, and I did a quick Google and found somebody on Reddit who had posted them.
Thank you, Reddit person. I am totally moving that into my Star Wars Saturdays thing and downloading a copy from my hard drive because I like having things in two places. That is wonderful. I am very thankful for this.
So I have a question, Rich. Is there anything on the characters I've missed? Because there's a lot of stuff here, and I'm afraid I might have skipped something.
Right. I'm checking you over right now. I'm checking over Razorhawk. Oh my god, it's so metal. It's the best. Primary. Okay, got that. Hot. Okay, structural, situational awareness is a 1. So, right. Okay, cool. Traits. Yep. Looking good to me. Yeah, you can just go ahead and start working on character details, and what we'll do, we'll introduce characters. Once everybody gives me the heads up that you're ready to do an introduction of your character, then we'll choose your squadron, take a break, and jump straight into some action. Does that sound good?
Are we all going to be in different squadrons?
Nope, you're all together. You're actually a little flight of rookies.
And we'll do that after we introduce our characters.
Yeah, I thought that might be easier if everybody introduces their character, then chooses a squadron. Cool. Wish I could get a pair of goggles that have my prescription in them. That'd be fun. Super nerdy. Cool. Everybody basically ready to introduce characters, or anybody needs some more time? Awesome. Who would like to go first?
I'll go
I
first.
can go first.
Oh,
Okay. No, you go ahead. You're in first place on the sheet anyway.
That's a good point. Hi, my name is Blaze, and I'll be playing Jungle Bush, call sign Jungle Bush. He's a Wookiee pilot that comes from the free world. He used to be a Navy pilot, and I read that we got kicked out of our border. So we just were basically, I guess, mercenaries now, just working for other nations or other worlds.
Mhm.
And he's a bit of a like a hard edge. So although he has got a modulator for people to actually understand what he's talking about. He's not subtle.
I have faith that you can pull that off, Blaze. Thank you so much. Sabine, you're next.
Yeah, I'm playing Kelly Irain from House Bernaba, or formerly from House Bernaba. Her call sign is Oracle. She is very happy to be a pilot. She loves flying. She loves flying in very daring and risky ways. Like, her sense of self-preservation isn't too strong. Foresight's maybe not her strong suit either. Well, learning from mistakes could be difficult, but she is she's very intuitive, and she just loves flying. And her ship, the Pepper, sometimes it's kind of that the two of them read each other's mind, actually, because they're turning so wildly effective. But she's not a great shooter. But hey, shooting is boring. If you can fly, come on.
Oh, that's great. That is fantastic. Thank you, Steve. Steven, please introduce us to your pilot.
I'm playing the Itochi Valerian Hado, call sign Osprey. He comes off as very standoffish. He is very focused in on his skill. He is very confident. He is the best pilot and has to prove that to everyone so that they understand and he can then teach him. He's the pilot of the Wraith. The Wraith is known as that because whenever it enters, we're going to be entering atmosphere, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Whenever it enters atmosphere, some of the maneuverability is because it's large. It's a half moon shape, and its large front wing actually spins around where the cockpit is, and it makes a moaning sound as it goes through and starts moving and maneuvering. So it actually sounds like a ghost or something like that as it pilots through the atmosphere. And it's a little bit difficult to control, but of course, Osprey has no problems with it.
That is amazing. These are great. Oh, you guys, I'm just blown away. All right. Now, you guys have the difficult choice of which squadron do all three of you end up on? Gold Jaguars, Red Foxes, Blue Spiders, Green Dragons, Gray Falcons, or Black Scorpions? They're all awesome of different ways. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, personally, I like the Red Foxes because they're they started out as an air show and stunt pilots, which would fit rather well with the best pilot ever and my character. But I'm open to everything else. I mean, I like the Green Dragons too because dragons.
I kind of like the Blue Spiders, but I'm willing to move. Oh no, never mind. I just saw the second line of that. Green Dragons. Yeah, Green Dragon sounds really good.
Joseph AWOL Joe Austin is the Dragon's current commander. Steven, what did you think? I haven't heard what are your opinions?
I was still looking over them.
Oh, sure.
I have a strong opinion. To be honest, the Foxes were fine with me. The Green Dragons, I think I could fit into. I'm still reading the Falcons and the Scorpions. Let me see.
Okay. I'll give you a minute.
So the way that I see fitting into the Foxes or the Dragons is where they were assigning what squadron we go into. Someone was kind of playing a joke and saying, hey, the serious guy should go in with the jokey kind of people because it'll either break him or he'll loosen up some. And I think his perspective is, I can straighten these guys up. So I'm fine with either of those.
All right. So we'll circle back. Sabine, which you get the... It looks like Green Dragons and what was the other one, Steven, that you were interested in?
The Red Foxes.
Okay, so it looks like we have 2 votes for Red Foxes, 3 votes for Green Dragons. Is that right?
I think that's right.
So I think Green Dragons. All right, you guys are all members of the Green Dragons Squadron. Joseph AWOL Joe Austin is your current commander, famous for his green twin-engine SF-21 Ibis, which is painted in draconic designs. He often is trying to mitigate some of your worst damage that you do while keeping you guys' flight from drinking every spaceport dry. He hasn't had much success with either endeavor, so the Green Dragons are the wildest of the the crews, the squadrons. Yeah, but they're also the most unpredictable. They are hired at a lower cost than other flights, just so you're aware. But they are very difficult and intractable opponents. Awesome. So it is 5 minutes till. Let's take a nice 10-minute break. And then when we get back, we're going to jump immediately into into a mission. You guys getting a mission and jumping right in. Okay? So see you guys in 10.
Question.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, before we break, I'd like to understand a little bit better about things like how deadly is this game? I assume you're not sure because you haven't played it before, or what we would do in such a situation.
Great question. So the game, to me, you will lose your ship, but so in a dogfighting, you're definitely at risk of losing a ship. You've got a 5-point structure. You actually get a little bit of fame if you survive it. I'm going to make the survivability. We'll kind of talk it out. In the game, the original structure of Warbirds, it's pretty easy to kind of pop out because you can just parachute down to the ground. So the game to me doesn't read like it's incredibly deadly. Easy to lose a plane if you have a series of bad rolls, but because you guys are in space, I would imagine it would be a little bit more deadly, but we'll play with it. To me, I imagine that we may have one in the 3 sessions we have. There may be one pilot who dies, but I think character creations, I've tried to make it pretty automated, so hopefully people can create a new character. But I'll generally leave it in your hands. If that's cool with you guys.
Sounds perfect.
Okay, good. All right, so 4 minutes till. We'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Talk to you soon.
Hey, Rich. I just dropped a Pinterest that I found of all these different ships. I thought that might be uh, interesting as well. I don't know if you ever plan on running this again, but um, it might be helpful to prevent other people from going down a Pinterest hole like I have.
That is pretty. This is a cool. Nice. Thank you for that. I was like, I don't want people going down this Pinterest hole. I'll try to get a bunch of them for everybody. And then it kind of worked, but
Well, back in the day, 4 or 5 years ago, I remember having a discussion with some friends about how narrowing your choices makes in indie games, narrowing choices and narrowing the story kind of focuses it in and makes you look at more of the story aspects, the dramatic stuff, and all that kind of thing. Um, so narrowing the choices of what ships and what all that kind of stuff would be helpful. But yeah, still.
wow, there are a lot of amazing ships. I actually really like these because there's all actual Star Wars ships. I kind of looked in Star Citizen for a lot of those ships that I offered up because I didn't want people to feel trapped in having to look like. But these are great selections of cool Star Warsy picks. So I really appreciate.
As I looked through that Pinterest stuff, I was like, "There's too many here. There's so many there that someone could easily get overwhelmed." But
yeah, that is a thing that happens. All right. So friends, we pick up with the if we would do like the Warbirds television show, we'd probably have like the little intros showing each of you guys in the cockpits as we show your character's call sign and their name, and we say, House Barnaba underneath Oracle, and we would have Free World underneath both Jungle Bush as well as Osprey. Oh, by the way, Blaze, you probably need to put in like your Wookiee name up on there when you get a chance. And then the next, like after all of the intro, which is kind of this crazy rock type thing, because we couldn't get access to John Williams music. It's just a licensing thing. And then you guys see coming across on the ship, we see this very old, battle-weary, old Republic era Corellian Corvette. And down in the bottom left-hand corner, we see the little, text over screen that says that this is the Dionysus. The Dionysus is the current flagship of the Green Dragons. It was a ship that served in the Old Republic and was mothballed when the Imperials took over. And after having, unfortunately, run out of money to upkeep the last flagship, now Joe Austin has gone pretty deep into Hawk to get this thing out of mothball and has retrofitted it so that it can warehouse your Warbirds. Now, you guys are part of the squadron. You're a flight among the squadron. The squadron at this point numbers over 20 pilots, kind of goes up and down. And the majority of you are traveling with this flagship as we begin this particular story. So I'm going to screen share again just to give you a sense of place. You guys are currently, all of your Warbirds are aboard the Dionysus, and you've just come recently out of hyperspace near Helios. Now, Helios is the southernmost major planet of House Barnaba's province. So House Barnaba is here on, if you were to think east to west, right? So on the easternmost part of the Expanse, which is the Tapani Sector. Barnaba's right on the border with what was the Free Worlds region. It is now the Tapani Sector. And if you see here this blue arrow, this is all part of AWOL's breakdown for you guys of the mission. As you know, the Tapani bypass heads to the core worlds, as well as the wow, how do I pronounce that? Thierra Sector. and it is a heavy shipping lane. Helios is the closest major Barnaba planet to that particular shipping lane, so there's a lot of goods that flow there. Barnaba has hired the Green Dragons to work this particular sector because there has been a small group of pirates who have been harrying any transports headed from Helios to the Tapani bypass. So Barnaba has hired us, the Green Dragons, and there's of course a big cheer, and most everyone is drinking during this particular breakdown of the mission, to come and hang around Helios in order to try to warn away these pirates. So the flagship is heading on a pirate hunt, and you guys as a group are referring to this as the Pirates Tangle Tango. That is the mission that you guys are on. You've been here for a number of days after you came out of hyperspace. I am curious, first of all, to learn from Oracle. You are in your home sector. Like, this is where your house is from. You said you were from a rich family. How close is your family to Helios?
Oh, they live there, of course.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. So you guys have been heading in and around Helios. Have you been tempted? Like, does your family know that you're this close?
I hope not.
Okay, good.
I mean, they might, because Oracle would bring people to the clubs she knows on that planet that are good, and then there are other people who know her as Kelly, and so the word might have reached one of her siblings that she's there. She hasn't made an attempt to contact them, which has probably not gone unnoticed.
Cool. So we will pick up with say the three of you guys are in the like the 10 forward here on the Dionysus. It's a bar. One of the great things about being a member of this squadron historically was that on the flagship it was free drinks. Now it's free drinks, but there's a maximum. Like, you can only have 3 within every 24-hour period, because several pilots got themselves so wasted that they couldn't fly. And so AWOL had to put a stop to that. But free drinks and free food here at the little bar that you guys can hang out in. He primarily keeps this thing going because it keeps people from hopping in their birds and flying away and not being around when actually the poodoo hits the fan. And so the three of you guys are seated around a table. There are a few other pilots, and there are a lot of hangers-on for a squadron, especially one like the Green Dragon. So you can see that there's a pilot. Now I'm going to use the cool call sign name. I'm going to say that Mustang, one of the more experienced pilots, he's got a couple of hangers-on, a couple of ladies that he's brought up from Helios. And then there is a call on your comm unit, Oracle. It is from home. It's from Helios. What do you do?
I look around like, oh my God, what is this? Well, okay, I'll take it. Well, whatever. Probably I've taken it before I realized who it was from.
Nice. It is from your younger sister. We're going to call her... I just think the name Heidi is just hilarious.
What is her name?
Heidi, yeah. And right? Is it a good name? Heidi
is a great name. First American I ever met was named Heidi. So
cool. So it's Heidi on the comm sheet. Like, her little blue outline appears on the little comm unit there in the middle of the table, and she looks brightly at you. And she probably looks around the table, and she will see Jungle Bush and Osprey, and you guys have fames of 2, so she may have heard of you, maybe not. She doesn't exactly give a look of recognition, but still excited. And she says, "Callie, I heard that you were at the club. Are you in the area?
Yeah, we are moored here right now, but probably not for long. Hi, Heidi. How's it going?
Oh, it's great. And she's wearing like this kind of micro skirt and a crop top. And you can see that she's at somewhere, like she's seated at a bar, and she's got her little setup for her display. She's, well, can you come down?
We've got a job to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, sure. But like maybe there's sponsorship opportunity or something like that. We're going to the Zero G Club.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Zero G Club was pretty cool back in the day, but once you've done the real thing, it's not that overwhelming.
Oh, God, Callie, you're the worst.
What?
Just bragging. You're always bragging about flying. Yeah, I can't believe you've never taken me up.
Yeah, you know what? Dad would rip your head off if you went out flying with me.
Well, he's already said he lost his best daughter, so I guess he won't even miss me.
I guess he wasn't talking about me. He was talking about Kyra going to that other law firm.
Oh, God. Kyra going to that law firm. Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. Oh,
yeah,
like,
well, yeah.
They're like working for free worlders' rights, and it's just so much trouble.
Yeah, well, she has followed her heart, I guess.
Who are your friends? Oh, that's the Wookiee. That's the Wookiee. Oh. What's his name?
And I'm looking to Jungle Bush because I can't see a name.
You can call it by his call sign. That's
yeah.
Popularly be known by. Blaze?
You're muted.
Sorry. What was the question? I'm sorry.
It's okay. So the sister of Callie,
Heidi.
Heidi. She's been chatting and gabbing at Callie, and then she looks around and she's like this tall, right? But the projected version of her sees you and says, "Oh, it's the Wookiee. Like what's his name again?" And she's talking to Callie, but talking about you.
So I just like holler something that sounds like Guja-esque. Guja. Just, yeah, Guja. Yeah. And then I look around Jungle Bush. Just call me Jungle Bush.
Jungle Bush, that's so exotic. that's her whole commentary. And she said, "Well, if you can get free, you should come down. We'll be here for the next few hours."
Yeah, we'll see about that. Okay, I'll try. But I think there's something blinking over there, and I have to pay attention. Heidi, was nice talking to you. Bye. Click.
You end the call, and sure enough, there is something blinking. The red light is going in your little 10 forward, which I keep wanting to call +1 forward because I'm a dork. But anyway, the red light. So we'll see. You guys need to start heading towards planes. You hear over the loudspeakers. AWOL says, "We've spotted a few bogies. They are headed towards the sector, harrying some transports. I need Jungle Bush, Oracle, and Osprey. Hope you guys are good to fly because I need you to scramble and get out there. I'll drop a ping on your HUDs, and I'm sending T-Ha with you." And then that's when Mustang's like, "Oh, God, T-Ha." T-Ha is a droid. T-Ha is a droid pilot who's a member of the Holonet media. And T-Ha does not participate in dogfights except to effectively wingman onto certain members of the Warbird pilots and aim cameras and try to get perfect footage. So the Green Dragons have signed a contract with this particular Holonet channel to get combat footage. So if T-Ha tails onto one of you guys, that's the thing you'll have to keep aware of. And of course, if you fuck up, then, if you cark up, then that could also end up creating a little bit of a scandal. No pressure. So what do we see? Just give me like a couple of images. You guys are scrambling towards your fighters, which would be in the nearby hangar. What do we see from Osprey? Because we haven't heard anything from him. So I imagine he was pretty taciturn during that conversation with Heidi. So what do we see from you, Osprey, as you're headed towards your ship?
So I think during the conversation with Heidi, he's at the table. He does not participate in drink. He has practice things. So these are like little dexterity games that he's trying to push on the bar drinkers so that they will gain better skills that might translate over to piloting. So as soon as he notices the alarm or someone points out the alarm and the uh, uh, announcement is made, he kind of gathers everything up very quickly, puts it into a pouch, and just sprints off towards the hangar. And every once in a while he'll look back and make sure that the rest of his squadron are also coming along, but is trying to make his way as quickly as possible. Yeah.
No nonsense whatsoever. Cool. What do we see from Oracle as she's headed towards the hangar bay?
She will first turn towards Jungle Bush and give him an apologetic shrug because of her sister. Like, what can you do? She's family, but and then I guess she'll just, hey, flying, great thing. She's got everything she needs. So she'll just sprint towards her starfighter and jump in, and then she'll just go through the checkup and talk to Pepper. She likes talking to Pepper. She's constantly doing it, like, oh, well, your fuel is good. That looks amazing. Girl, have you had some work done? Stuff like that.
Oh, that's great. I love that. That's pretty great. And then what about Jungle Bush? What do we see as you're heading out to the starfighter to jump in?
So Jungle Bush was drinking some age thing in a like large pottery thing with a little knob on it. And so he wasn't done, and he was expected I was expected to finish this. So I'm just gonna slouch to my ship with this thing that I'm trying to finish at the same time before I get to my ship. My flight suit has a lot of tassels and things that hook onto other things, so it's a bit it's like putting on all these things is it's not designed for Wookiees, so it's always awkward. So I'm like stumbling forward to get to my ship, and finally it takes me a while. I get into my ship, I finish my drink, check the drink outside the window, and then close the hatch or whatever it is, and just grumble, and it takes me a while. Like I'm not in any hurry.
I love it. This is fantastic. Cool. And there is actually a flight crew that's set up for the squadron. I mean, the Green Dragons aren't just pilots. There's an entire support structure that's part of the flagship here. So they pull out the ladders, and you guys you throw the drink, and one of the engineers goes over and he picks up the drink and wipes a little bit there, and then they all move out of the way, and you guys get clearance. And I'm totally biting off of the original Battlestar Galactica thing where you go through a long tunnel, right? And then bam, you burst out into space. I'm curious, Osprey, are you generally of the three of you, are you generally the flight leader when it comes to going out on work like this?
I take point. I as long as the other two don't jostle me for that to endanger the formation, then yes.
Nice. Cool. So Osprey, you're leading the way. Oracle kind of nestle in, being a wingman. Sorry, it's a gendered term. I know wing person, wing being.
It's totally okay.
All right, cool. So you're effectively dropping in as a wingman. Jungle Bush, are you how tight of a formation do you drop into when you wingman behind Osprey right now?
Oof. It's give or take. It's like flying in squad. I don't know how long we've been together, but it's still I'm still learning to work with these other people. I'm kind of a big bubble of personal space when I'm in my ship. I don't like being near other people, you know. But
Love
yeah,
it.
ish.
Cool. I love it. Awesome. So you guys take off, and just true to his word, AWOL had told you guys that Commander Austin had told you guys that he was going to drop a ping on your HUD. Sure enough, what you see as you head towards an asteroid field is there a couple of pieces of movement that we'll just say, like, usually droids are on board ships for communication, but I kind of like the idea of talking to Pepper, and maybe Pepper's got some onboard nav computer. Does this sound cool? So maybe she does talk back, or do you think that you've personified her, even though it's not real? How do you feel about Pepper?
Me, I feel that Pepper is a person.
Okay.
She's a friend. And Rich, can you give me the HUD, the abbreviation? It's not the housing and
no, it is
thingy
not.
department. So
heads up display. I am so sorry for jargoning there.
Thank you. Oh, I've heard it before, but
thank you for asking.
I
appreciate that. I'd rather explain than you nod. just ask me. I'm happy to explain. Yeah, so your heads up display gives you guys the coordinates to head over towards the asteroid field where the long range sensors have picked up the possibility of a bogey. As you guys near the asteroid field, you see a pair of, I'm going to show a pic because I found an incredible looking modified version of these, but I stuck it on a starry background because otherwise it looked silly on a white background. These are ARC 170 starfighters. There are a pair of them. They're kind of a snub-nosed looking fight. These guys have been modified and mocked up with some crazy looking insignias and designations to try to make them look quote unquote fearsome. And that is when over your comms you see the pair of bogies ahead. Tiha comes in, and Tiha's ship, it is flying, is it's not a bad ship, actually. The hull and net spent quite a bit because they don't want to keep losing droid pilots. But this is the ship. This particular area right here is like one series of cameras. So it's like a whole array of cameras that tries to get bullet time footage of live fights that are going in. And Tiha says, "Oh, excellent. 2 bogies. Roger, roger. Commander Osprey. Very exciting, very exciting. How are you going to take them down, sir?"
I ignore the droid and I tell Jungle Bush and Oracle, I say, don't let the banter get to you. We're here for a job, not for pictures. And I tell them, let's work together as a team to do this.
Yeah, at your words, I will stop waving at the cameras.
I'll just belch out whatever's left in my tummy. I'm like, got it. And yeah.
And these are obviously the pirates that we were sent after. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Up ahead, you've got a little bit of comm traffic going on with the flagship. They've identified themselves. There's the Green Dragons. Please cease and desist. And coming over the comms is the response in basic with a Barnaba accent is call sign of, sorry, I'm just going to use the crap out of the call signs that you've sent to me because it's the best thing ever. We're going to say that this is pilot Farrell. And you hear that the voice is a little on, like, trying to sound husky, but it's a little on the young side. So this is Pilot Farrell. And if you come our way, I'm going to blast you out of space. So, as you guys come into Okay, I imagine you're going to continue on and ignore the pair of them. They are going to be working together. These two ARC 170 starfighters have evidently flown together before. You guys are flying together as well. And so unless you guys had anything specific, we can jump straight into some dogfighting. Does that sound fun?
Yeah.
All right. So here's where we do some rules. But it's fun rules, and I've tried to make them nice and simplistic. I'm going to screen share again. So a dogfight. There's no initiative in dogfight. Instead, the pilots make an opposed dogfighting roll. Now we have 5 total pilots, but there's rules for that, and it's okay. So what you want to do is you want to roll high. And what we do is it happens in rounds, and there is a thing called rounds to the ground, which makes a lot more sense in Warbirds because there's gravity. But here it's rounds to the field. It's rounds to the asteroid field. So there's a danger as you guys are fighting and dogfighting right now of these guys trying to escape into the asteroid field. And if they do so, it's incredibly dangerous to continue the fight. Now, you can choose to, but it will be at extreme risk. So you have 3 rounds until the asteroid field. And what that means is that after the 3rd round, if you haven't resolved the dogfighting, then they have escaped into the asteroid field, and that will effectively you'll have to break off for now. Is that clear for everybody? Anybody got a question about? All right, cool. So I'm going to just add a column to the right here, and so we can keep track of that. So rounds to asteroid. We'll count that down, and I'll make that bigger in just a second. So to start off, there is no initiative technically, but you guys make opposed dogfighting rolls, and it is performance plus piloting plus situational awareness. Now, let me make that bigger. You should actually have that already calculated for you. Let's jump over to take a look. So the dogfighting roll should be... Oh, you're making opposing piloting roll. Sorry. Yeah, you're making opposed piloting. Here we go. All right, so it's 1d6 plus performance plus your piloting skills plus your situational awareness. I think that is what this is. So let's double check. Piloting. Piloting plus situational awareness plus 20. Yeah, piloting plus situational awareness plus 40, which is your performance, plus C61, which is any trait bonus. Cool. So you guys have this already calculated for you. I just want to make sure. You're in dogfighting, so you're going to roll 1d6. Jungle Bush, you roll 1d6 plus 5. Callie is 1d6 plus 6. And Osprey is 1d6 plus 6 as well. You guys have the link to our roll for your party? If not, you should find it in chat.
I do.
Cool.
Does anybody have a problem with me picking purple dice? Cool. Is it 1d6 plus?
Yeah, it's 1d6 plus the calculation. So for you, it'd be 1d6 plus 5. And I am going to choose a color as well because I have to roll dice. I'm going to roll my 2d6. All right, cool. Cool. So we have our stuff. So we've got pilot Farrell, and Farrell's wingman is, I'm sorry, but Foxy, and so we will now, in order to make things quote unquote easier, we'll see if it's actually easier. I've got a dogfight tracker. So we actually, everything counts down from the highest number, and whoever has the highest result gets to choose whoever they want to shoot at. Yeah, Foxy's an old battle droid. That is a true thing. Or were you saying that in response to Tiha? Is Tiha an old battle droid? It is. It's still old battle droid.
He said Roger, Roger. That's
right. So he's an old battle droid. That's exactly what he is. Cool. So I need to know what resulting number you rolled. So Jungle Bush, what did you roll?
I rolled a 3, so +5. That's an 8.
All right. And I apologize. Oracle, what did you roll?
I rolled a 3 + 6 x9.
A 9, okay. And Osprey, what did you roll?
An 11.
Nice. Osprey, no wonder you're the cool. And let me stick in Foxy and so both 3. So Jungle Bush, you go at the same time as Feral, and then sadly Foxy goes dead last. All right, so Osprey, you have choice of the field. Who would you like to go after? Feral is in the lead. Foxy is Feral's wingman.
I'm going to go after Feral.
Okay.
As I do so, I tell him, please transmit your burial arrangements to your next of kin, and I do whatever's necessary. So swoop underneath and do a barrel roll and fire at him.
That sounds awesome. So the winner of the dogfighting roll may fire on the loser or hold for the perfect shot. Sounds like you want to take a shot.
Yeah.
Shooting is made with a gunnery or ordnance skill plus spatial awareness plus weapon accuracy roll. So what are you going to be firing with? And I'm going to walk it through.
So let's start with heavy lasers.
Okay, so heavy lasers. So you've got an accuracy of 1. You are going to be rolling gunnery. So you will roll effectively +3 because of gunnery and accuracy. And your here we go. So it is your spatial awareness is a 0. Your weapon accuracy is a 2, and your gunnery is a 1. So it's a D6 +3.
Okay, so I'll just re-roll the same D6 that I had before.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
And then I roll for this person trying to get out of the way. So I don't think he can pull off a stunt. He's just... Oh, that's right. You're rolling against his... all right, the pilot with a bayonet on their tails in a bad place. Defending pilots have a few options: break, escape, or shoot. I think that he is going to try to break. Break is the ship's defense is performance plus piloting plus spatial awareness. The performance is a 3, piloting 1, spatial awareness is 2. So the break defense is a 3 + 1, 4. So you need to beat a 4.
So I rolled a 6.
Nice.
And then I think did something else add to that?
Yeah. So you're firing. So
That's
your
accuracy plus gunnery. So that'd make a 9.
A 9, and the break defense was a 4. So you have a lead +5. What is the damage for your heavy lasers? It says lead +2, right?
Yes.
So that adds on top of the lead that you have. So the 9 minus the 4 is 5 plus 2, 7. You're doing 7 damage. That is insane. You have just taken out Feral.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Just so I'm learning, did you roll dice for Feral?
I did not. The options when you're being... Sorry, let me jump. If you're defending, the pilot with a bayonet on their tail can either choose to break. So that's the break defense. His break defense was a 4, which that was the target number you had to beat.
I see. So it gives you a target number. It's not an opposed roll at that point.
Right.
Okay.
He can, if he wants, he can try to pull a stunt, but he was stupid and cocky and thought he was just good enough to outfly you. However, you rolled a 6 and are pretty good at this, so you have blown him out of the quote-unquote sky. So his break defense, he had an armor of 2. You did a lead enough of 7, so you actually took out all of his structure points. So what does this look like as you dial in and take out Feral?
Yeah, so I think that what this looks like is the Wraith spins around and goes underneath, and this is something that Feral, an inexperienced pilot wouldn't be used to because it's out of your field of vision. And I start firing up at Feral's belly, and basically you see this. It's almost like a strafing move. You see, starting at the front, you see laser fire go into the belly of his ship over and over again until it gets to the tail. And then you see this like line kind of appear in the ship, and it starts to split apart and then explodes.
Nice, nice. And we hear a little bit of comm chatter. Fox, come on, get him off me, get him off me. Ah, sploosh, and he explodes. And of course, there's sound in space because Star Wars. And you hear T-Ha, that was incredible. I think I got all of it. Great job, great job. Cool. So that is the first round. And wow, poor Feral did not fare well. Ha ha ha. Sorry. It's going to be in the voiceover for the... Okay, Oracle, you are up.
Yeah,
you wish to
I think since Feral is dust, I'll just attack Foxy.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Foxy is terrified and wishes to use an escape. So Foxy, you're going to need a 6 or better to beat on a roll. Now, do you want to... You're going to be going with gunnery, so you roll a d6 plus your gunnery.
Yeah.
Plus
I'm
special...
not with gunnery.
Yeah.
Okay, but we see. Maybe I'm good with rolling. Who knows? No, I'm not. I've got a 3. Sorry. Plus 2 makes 5. Plus accuracy. I have a heavy laser. Makes 6.
Oh, that's... Oh, how does handle on ties? Just a second. Let me double check.
I could also spend a point of reserve, I guess.
Let's go ahead and have you spin a point of reserve.
Cool. Then I'm just go up to 7 because, well, the
Okay.
force is with me, I guess.
Do you wish to use the high energy throughput?
That is for my heavy weapon.
Oh,
not
okay.
For my heavy lasers, I think. Yeah. Makes more sense, right?
Yep, that sounds
For
good.
railgun, yeah. Okay, so, yeah, cool.
All right.
All right. So she's trying to run. Just splitting off from the whole fight, and Oracle just guns up her engines to follow her very quickly, and with a very weird turn of her engine, she overtakes her, rushes beneath her, and then kind of gets up in front of her and then starts shooting and hits the cockpit with her lasers. And it's almost like she foresaw the direction that Foxy was going to run, the maneuver she was going to use.
Nice. So those heavy lasers are a lead plus 2. You had a lead of 1 because you spent your reserve. So the total of 3 damage you're doing to her. She has an armor of 2. So one of those gets through. Now, for you guys, you can see these structures. I put little check boxes in. If you had taken damage, you'd like check that, and it would have no impact to you until you've taken 3 structure damage, and then you start having minuses to your rolls. It's the same for her. She has 5 structure points. So you pepper up. Sorry, didn't mean that, but there you go. You pepper up her cockpit with a few lasers, but nothing goes through as she banks hard and is able to escape being blown out of the sky.
I will tell her that she might surrender.
Nice.
Might be her best option.
I think that is a really good option. We'll see if she can follow through on that when Jungle Bush comes up, because now it is time for Jungle Bush. You have 1 opponent Foxy in her little Arc 170, and she is trying to get the heck out of Dodge. What do you do, Jungle Bush?
Is there a way that all this dodging and weaving, I could have just like beeline for a flank?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So like I take my time and I beeline for a flank, and I just swarm all the hot missiles at her. Like
Yes.
just
Yes.
like jungle fire, baby, jungle fire.
I love it. So it sounds like you're going with your heavy weapons.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. So go ahead and make.
So it's with ordnance, right?
Yep. You're going to be rolling with ordnance. So your ordnance should be. Yeah, there you go. You can roll a d6 and it's +2. You're trying to again beat a 6 because she's still trying to escape.
Okay. Can I spend some reserve on this?
You certainly can.
Okay, I'm gonna spend 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's spend 1 reserve on this.
Okay.
5, 6, 7, 8.
8. Okay, so you have a lead of 2 because you beat her escape defense. Now, your damage for the heat seekers is, oh my god, a lead +5. Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
Holy crap. Cool. So lead +5 means that you've now gone up to a 7 total damage, which will her 2 armor will take that down to a 5, but she'd already lost 1 structure point. Please tell us how these missiles take out Foxy.
So as she's like flying away with Oracle on her tail, I just like casually come like from the side, and it's like I just open the comm link. I'm like, it's over, and just like fire away, and then just the Macross missile, like the cloud of small missiles, just peer out from underneath my wing and like spray in, and it's just like passing in front of like all these fireworks that just create all these sparks as they hit. It's like a meteor shower that runs into a ship. It's just like it's Swiss cheese, and all that's left is like a carcass of something, and then I peel off.
That is amazing. So Foxy, yeah, she's like, sorry, Feral. Oh, stars. And then all of the missiles come, and over the comms, you hear her last words before it explodes in space. And you guys, all 3 of you, the flight heads on. These pirates taking down these young, stupid criminals that had done bad stuff, according to what you guys have been told by the Green Dragons. And you took out both of these Arc 170s. You hear Tiha saying, this is incredible. I'm so proud of you guys. This is great footage. Oh, does anyone have anything to say for our viewers back home?
Something like kids know better than join the pirates, join the Navy.
Nice. I want to I think that is a possibility of getting yourself an extra fame point, but I want to use our ground pounding rules. So you are trying to, I imagine you're just trying to use your wit and intellect here. So please roll 2d6 and add your mind. Oh crap. You are not very mindful. Okay.
It's fine. It's cool. 2d6. So that's I think that's a 4 and a 5.
I think so.
4 and a 5. So that's 9 minus 2 is 7.
Perfect. 7 and 9 is a partial success. You do it, but with a cost, compromise, reduced effect, or harm. So I'm going to give you your fame point, but now it hasn't created a scandal. But Jungle Bush now has a pro naval. You didn't say the guild, right? So there's a particular navy that's going to be starting to use you for recruitment.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I didn't. That's it. Like I'm a Wookiee, right? And I'm from Free Navy, so I have no idea who all these structures are. So it only makes sense that I get them confused all the time.
There you go. Cool. So, great job, everybody. You've won your first dogfight. You did outnumber them. Your ships and your skills and your training were better than theirs, but still, a win is a win. Please take 3 fame points, Jungle Bush. No, you don't increase the fame points down on row 23. And then 2 fame points for Oracle and 2 for Osprey. Now, Jungle Bush, you need to mark 1 dogfighting kill. That's on row 33. And Osprey, you also mark 1 dogfighting kill. And the kills go to the person that makes the last shot. So as you guys finish up, AWOL calls over the comms. Well, that was some easy dust up, huh? Good work, Flight. You guys are better than I gave you credit for.
I hope you challenge us more next time.
Nice.
Yeah, that was kind of boring.
Sweet.
I mean, that's what Oracle says.
That's great. I love that. You guys circle back and you start to head back to the ship. As you are heading back to the ship, Tiha comes over the comms and says, let's see, do you think you guys actually have, are you lieutenants? I mean, or do we even worry about military stuff? You've got call signs, so I think he's probably, I was just wanting to figure out, do we have any kind of, I imagine the Green Dragons don't really have a military structure. They just have the boss and then the pilots and then, BS hazing from the more skilled pilots. That sound right? Or do you guys, how are you thinking that the general structure goes for?
I was actually thinking more of a mercenary type thing where people don't really have rank, but there's this understood social structure.
I like it. Cool.
Yeah, I like it too.
We're on the same page then. Awesome. So Tiha will say, Oracle, your shooting was excellent. Since you are local to the Barnabas, I was wondering if you'd be interested in a sponsorship opportunity.
Well, who is it? Who would sponsor me? Interested I am.
You have the opportunity for a sponsorship with 0G, the Dancing Club Entertainment Facility, located on Helios. You would need to make an appearance.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah, sure.
Cool. So do you guys head back to the Dionysus and pull back into the hangar after barely breaking a sweat? A little bit of congratulations from the ground crew, because that definitely helps you fulfill your contract. And Tiha, who is, as we've decided, definitely an old battle droid, comes down, is downloading all the footage into various data crystals and working on trying to get that uploaded to Holonet. So do you guys have any particular scenes you want to do on the ship?
I want to go up to Tiha and offer her or him that I can sign his armor thing, interior, exterior.
Oh, cool! I think that would definitely get you a little bit of fame if the kind of the war correspondent has your particular call sign on it. So I think you need to convince him to do that. Like, he's a little hesitant. That is against regulations, but it is a tempting offer. So please roll 2d6 plus mind, and if so, I'll give you a fame point for it if you're successful. You're talking on mute?
Yeah, I'm just talking to myself, but I didn't make it. I rolled 6, so I get a 5.
All right, you got a 5. So you come out, you offer that, and Mustang, who's a human. I think that Mustang is a former member of one of the houses, not a royal or anything, but I think that he's from House Cadrian. And he says, Rook, no, no, no. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Belay that, Tiha. Listen, you may get yourself a little bit of sponsorship, but you're not putting your name on Tiha's ship. And he points to like where it says Mustang written in nice big like he's airbrushed the letters and everything. He says he's already got what he needs from the Green Dragons. Yeah?
Yeah, I wasn't offering to put it on his ship, buddy, but it's okay.
You call me stupid?
I've called you buddy because we're comrades, aren't we?
Yeah, I guess.
Cool. And I wave towards Tiha and give him an insolent grin, and then I'll skip off.
Tiha gives you he holds his hand out and then his little thumb pops up. And cool. So are the Jungle Bush and Osprey, are the two of you going to participate in this sponsorship like as hangers on? Because it seems like the pitch is that Oracle, they're going to be talking about Oracle's heroism as a member of the guild. Do you guys come in and participate on this, or just leave her on her own?
I'm like nonchalant about it. So if it's like, if by association they decided that you're in, I'm like, cool, but
I think it's surprising that Osprey goes, and he encourages Jungle Bush to go as well. He's very dour in going, so he doesn't seem like this is really his scene. But you can see that as people start to get out of line, he starts to, I think, Jungle Bush grabs a drink and he like takes it out and sets it back on the tray. That kind of thing. Yeah.
So it's primarily humans. Helios has a pretty heavy population, somewhere around 70%, and the more affluent, especially those who are at the Zero-G Club, are there. You guys come in, you're greeted like celebrities, you cut line. Heidi actually tries to cut in with you. Do you let that go, Callie? Like, she wants to like jump to the front of the line with her big sister.
Damn, I really don't want to, but she's seen me. Oh, okay, I guess.
She totally comes up and like jumps up and hugs your neck, and she's like, "This is my sister. This is my sister. I heard that you're the poster girl for the whole like. They're gonna put a picture of you up on the outside of the building."
Hey, all I did was some fancy flying. I didn't even hit anything special. It was those guys who did the heavy lifting.
Shh, 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 shh. You've done House Barnaba proud. You've done our whole family proud. And she kind of has her arm around you, but you can also tell that like while she's congratulating you, she's also trying to associate with you, be seen with you as you guys come in.
I'm not very comfortable about this whole huggy thingy and keep rolling my eyes.
And she's wearing like like this very silvery outfit, and Herglig, who is the guard at the front, steps aside to let you guys in. And it's a Zero-G club, so there's this central area which has Zero-G, and people can they rent these little booths or packs and stuff, and folks can kind of move around, but it's a lot of dancing in Zero-G environments. In the center is this particular band that's playing like this odd synth jazz type music. It's called Jizz, isn't it? Like that's the name of the weird jazz music it's Star Wars canon. I'm sorry, is a thing. So we'll say they're playing some of that music, and there are a bunch of cameras and little drone cameras that are all floating around you guys as you come in. And while this was the sponsorship for Oracle, there are people who recognize you, Jungle Bush, and you, Osprey. You know, most of the guild are it's generally human or near human centric. So the fact that you guys are kind of these exotic members of the guild is definitely noteworthy. Osprey, how do you handle this kind of fame?
So I have a reputation for avoiding publicity. So it's not very common, to get an autograph or anything like that. That just doesn't happen. So I think as one of these little drone cameras gets too close and is like kind of in my face, I grab it and smash it. And the others kind of, back up a little bit and maybe take pictures of other things.
Ooh, you know what? I really want to see. I want to see if that makes a scandal, right? That's pretty nasty.
Okay.
So it's no problem for you to grab a camera. Like, it was right there and you could easily smash one. It kind of feels like, do you, with your wit, or if it's your, the will and faith, like, you tell me which of those two stats feel like what you're rolling with to make this impression of like, back off of me without being so unapproachable that it starts a scandal.
So I think that normally what this would look like is this is what's the right word? Intimidation. This is I want these silly things to leave me alone. So would that be will?
Well, that's up to you. If you think that it's an intimidation, which is trying to impose your will on others, you can roll with the force.
Yeah, I'm awful at that. So let's see what
yes,
that
you
looks
are.
Like. Yeah.
That's why I laid it out there. Like, if you want to go there.
Okay. Let's roll that. Oops. I rolled d8s.
Didn't roll too well. I'll delete those.
Thank you. Okay. I got a 9 minus 2 is 7.
Sweet. So you grab that particular drone cam, smash it. The others kind of move back, and they're giving a bunch of angles, and they capture this particular footage. And for the rest of the night, you intimidated, so they're not really following you. But a lot of the hangers on, maybe you even take this as a good thing, they start giving you space. Like, don't mess with the Itochi. Ooh, Osprey's in a mood. Osprey's in a mood. I remember back and someone, like a couple of teens, are telling each other stories about when Osprey went off on somebody one time. And it may or may not be true. So you avoided a scandal, but you gain 1 fame point from your little outburst, but no one's really going to deal with you for the rest of the night unless you go out and engage someone.
So it's sort of like, instead of avoiding attention, it added to my notorious reputation.
Exactly.
Okay, good. So are scandal and fame and that kind of stuff mechanically, does a scandal do something?
So it has more of a mechanical impact in Warbirds as it was built, but that's a whole 30 pages worth of stuff. So the short version of the way scandal impacts you here and fame impacts you is that fame stat, you can use that at any point once per session to boost a roll. So you've got a fame of 2, you could boost a roll by 2 by saying, well, because I'm a famous Warbird, I'm better at XYZ thing. If you're in scandal, then every social situation you're in, your fame is a negative all the time until you resolve that scandal. There's a whole lot of other stuff that it does in the Warbirds maxi version, but that's what it does in ours. And I'll make sure and kind of doctor that up. And there's one of the tabs is called ground pounding fame and XP rules. I'll touch that up to make sure that it's clear, but that's what fame and scandal does for you. Cool. So you get 1 fame point. You can go ahead and mark that for your little outburst. And that should take you up to 4. In order to move your fame up, it has to go up by 3 times.
Is it change the stat, or is it?
No, it changed your fame points. So underneath the fame is fame points.
So I think I was at 2, and now I'm at 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So we come back to you, Oracle, after that little outburst from Osprey. There are a number of people who are watching you. Lots of the drone camps now, they've moved away from the Itochi because he's terrifying, and they're always a little nervous about the Wookiee. But a lot of them are focused on you. Heidi's absolutely enjoying this, and there is a male Twi'lek who comes up and he offers you a hand, and he says, Oracle, I'm so glad that you agreed to sponsor our Zero-G club. My name is Aola. It is nice to meet you. And I will stick that name in our chat.
Yeah, I think I'll loosen up a bit after being met by him, and I'll give him an enthusiastic greeting. Like, it's really nice to be here. I mean, it's not the first time that I've been here. It's the first time that I'm kind of sponsored, which is lovely. And this is a great club. And, well, yeah.
He comes up, and I imagine he's like a green Twi'lek. He comes up and he puts his arm around you, and he's maybe in his, like, appears like a guy in his 40s, like a human guy in his 40s. He's gotten maybe he was really attractive and muscular before, but everything started to settle a little bit for him. But he's dressed really well. He smells nice, and it's a congenial thing. Like, he doesn't seem like he's hitting on you as much as like wanting to be seen, arms around, like friendly with you. And he says, so what I need you to do, Oracle, is that we're going to step out into the Zero-G. I want you to party a little bit, say a few nice things about the club. I'm going to be getting a few photos of you, my favorite ones. We're going to plaster it up on the outside of the building, okay?
Okay. Great. Cool. Sounds nice.
Cool. So they attach a couple of like little jet boot things to the base here boots so that you can maneuver around on the Zero-G. And then he will kind of leave you off to go have some fun. What do you do?
Can I assume that that I can get a drink on the house?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like anything that you want. And I'm kind of imagining, like, you guys tell me if there's something cooler in your mind, but I'm imagining that like the drinks have to be, because it's Zero-G, right? So again, you got little straws and like little things, and there are probably some of the club kids who have hats with like really long bills, and they have the drinks up there with like the suction things, right? They'll take their drinks via these little containers that they replace on their hats. So yeah, you can get whatever you want on the house.
Personally, I think that Osprey is very much cooler in the corner, but Kelly doesn't, because Kelly is young and Kelly likes to party. So nice. She'll just go. I think she will have changed her uniform for some sort of kind of short pants and some kind of top or something like that, and just party clothing. And yeah, she'll start a party, and she'll start to say nice things about the club, because she's always liked it anyway. So
awesome. So we'll go ahead. Let's resolve that with one roll. We'll call it a mind, because you're trying to use your wit and your cleverness here.
No, actually, I'm not trying to use anything. I'm just doing what I'm doing. I'm not trying to milk this. Kelly is not. Kelly is just doing what comes naturally.
Okay. Cool. But I still want to see a roll. I get you though. Like, you're not trying to necessarily work it, but this will also represent how people perceive it. Because you are local, like you're from House Barnaba, I'm going to give you a +1 forward on this roll. So that's effectively a flat roll for you, as long as you don't.
Still have to roll with mind, right?
You do. Unless you think that you are angling towards body or the force in your attempts here.
Anything but mind, because there is not a lot of mind in what I'm doing. Not
do you
really.
just have faith? So you kind of have faith in yourself and your friends? Maybe a little bit of force?
Sure. I mean, as I said, I'm doing what comes naturally.
I love it. All right, so you get a +2 on that, and +1 from the +1 forward for being part of House Barnaba.
Because I rolled a 4. Oh God, I think Oracle can't roll very well on this thing, but hey, it's enough, barely, with the +1 forward for being local. So awesome. I get a 7.
So take a couple of fame points. You now have a sponsorship, and you make a good impression. You end up dancing out into the 0G, and a lot of the drone cams take pictures of you. There are people come up to have you sign their data pads. One guy comes up and wants you to sign his arm, and people are just flocking around this Warbirds flying ace, although technically you haven't earned the title of ace, but they don't know. It appears, Jungle Bush, that Oracle's been pulled away from you. I think Osprey is, a lot of people are leaving him alone. How are you handling this 0G club?
Well, it's funny because I don't have the time to get a full drink in me before someone wants to cark with me. Somebody comes in. The scene is this. The scene is somebody is angry that I didn't call on the right company when I did the PSA thing earlier, and they're gonna come at the Wookiee thinking that they can get a piece of the Wookiee. So that's the scene that I want.
That is awesome. So I think what we have is a guy by the name of, I'll drop the name in chat. His name is Quinbrin. And Quinbrin is a member of House Barnaba's military. Like, he's from the House Barnaba space flight. And he figures some former free worlder would be talking about joining the Navy. We wouldn't even have you here. The likes of you couldn't even fit in a cockpit. And he's like, 5'10". I'm not sure how much that is in meters. Somebody do the conversion. He's like less than 2 meters. Something like that. But you're way taller than he is, right? So he kind of stares up at you. He's trying to start a little bit of a trash talking about you and also about the free world military. Not that you guys would do any good since the Imperials destroyed you. What was it, a fortnight before all of the free worlds fell to the might of the Empire?
I look at him and I'm like, oh, what's the name of the? Just as a side note, what's the name of the chess in Star Wars? The checkers thing. The
Dejarik.
Thank you,
Jarek. I look at Dejarik. I said, have you ever played Dejarik with a Wookiee?
No.
Do you know what happens to people who don't let the Wookiee win?
We get a bunch of hairballs. I don't know.
Then I poke at somebody who I would know, who know the answers. I grab somebody's arm like another pilot somewhere, or do you know what happens to people who don't let the Wookiee win?
I'll play that role. I lean in and I say, they tear their arms off.
Ooh, sounds like you want to. Are you trying to intimidate him, or
yeah, I'm trying to intimidate him.
Sweet. Yeah, I think I don't think this is a mind thing. You're not trying to be witty, though. You're just trying to use your overall presence to intimidate the guy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
yeah.
roll with body.
Yeah, sounds good. There's a lot of stats in this game. Oh my god.
I know. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. I'm just not used to it. So is it 2d6 because we're on?
It is.
Okay.
It's 2d6. I'm going to delete off the purple dice so you can roll fresh ones.
Thank you very much. The 7 and an 8.
Okay, so you got an 8. That's a partial success. So I think he gets a little cowed by the idea of ripping arms off, but then one of his buddies comes in and he's like, "Is he threatening to rip your arm off?" Then he shoves you, and then the other guy throws the first punch. So now you're not going to take any fame hit from this. This won't create a scandal because Dave started the fight with you. But I think you take a hit point of damage, so you can take that off of your current. You should have a current of 15. All right. So yeah, you take a hit point of damage as one of them comes in and just sucker punches you. But it seems like you're in a fight. What do you do? You got 2 humans, members of Barnaba's military, who are trying to beat you up. What do you do?
Well, I have 2 arms, So I will grab each of them by the collar and slam them together really hard.
That is amazing. Give me a body roll, 2d6 plus your body.
Sounds good. That sounds like a Wookiee thing to do, right?
I think so. It seems very Wookiee to me, and it's actually pretty nice of you to not rip off arms.
No. I think that's another 3 and a 4, so that's a 7 plus it's an 8 again.
Sweet. So you slam these guys together, and one of them gets knocked out. The guy who started off, Quinjin, though, he actually, when you knock the two of them, he like drops to his knees, and I think he's going to pull out a little stun baton.
Whoa.
And he's going to try to stun you.
Okay.
So now you see there are people who are moving this way. They've got bouncers and the like. You could let this guy get drug away, or you can keep pushing this fight. What do you want to do?
I rip his arm off.
God.
I'm sorry. Like,
you're a Wookiee.
We were physically, he escalated by taking out a stun, so I'm gonna escalate.
It's true. He was going to knock you out, and so doing bodily harm to him is great. Please roll plus body.
Actually, Blaze,
yes.
Would you mind if I stepped in and kind of pulled you off of him?
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't mind if you did that.
Yeah. How about I do that? I think that, what we see the bouncers coming in, and Jungle Bush, goes to grab this guy. You can tell he's going in, he's going to do some major damage. And I think that Valerian steps between the two of them and kind of just puts his hand on Jungle Bush's lower chest, because I think you're taller than most of us. And I'm going to try and de-escalate the situation.
Cool.
That is good. Please de-escalate. I think you're trying to interpose yourself by your body, so go ahead and roll plus body.
Okay. So I got a 6 plus 2 is 8.
Okay. So with an 8, you guys are able to avoid a scandal, but Quinjin, he is going to remember this. He's probably going to, there might be a thing later as he gets drug off by his buddies, and they're talking a lot of trash, and all of a sudden what was 2 guys, now you see that there was like a small squad of guys who were hanging out together, and they saw what you did to their buddy, and of course their version of this story is going to have you talking all the trash, but you avoid a scandal as Osprey bodily pulls you away, and we cut to Oracle as you are in the middle of the 0G. Would you see this kind of dust up happen with your buddies and some members of the House Barnaba military? What do you do when you see this break out, Oracle?
Oh God, these assholes!
All the eyes are on you, by the way. Like there's literal like lights that are shining to highlight you being here in the 0G area. Everyone watching you as you see that little fight off to the side.
Well, I think I'll make a thing about this because, I'm doing what feels good, right? Going with the flow. So I will call out that these assholes who are harassing my 2 squad mates, that shouldn't be tolerated when we're celebrating a victory over those pilots, right?
Nice. So yeah, you call that out. Your voice carries a little bit because they've got you mic'd up for really cool stuff, for sponsorship, and you decide to use that to call them out. I think when you do that, all of the squad, the bouncers are on your side, right? They don't want any further problems, so the bouncers will start escorting these guys away. And the Herglick who was at the door, he starts thumping through. So a Herglick is like 3 meters tall. They look like they're gigantic creatures. They barely fit through doors. They're very terrifying. So when this Herglick starts stomping towards the Barnabans and Quinjin, they like, yeah, and they talk a lot of trash, but they're all headed for the door.
Yeah, give it up for the lovely security for the of the 0G club, guys.
That's great. Like talking nice about the security. That is such a great play. I love it. I love it. Cool. And actually, let me show you guys because I love showing the picture of the Herglick. So let me. Can't remember if you guys have seen a Herglick before, but I will quickly show a picture of a Herglick. This is what this guy looks like. Yeah, that's a Herglick. You definitely like Herglicks in your. They're the best bouncers. Okay. So yeah, he raises up his hand. Although I'm using male gender, but Herglicks don't have secondary sexual characteristics, so the males and the females look very similar. So the Herglick raises their fist, and there's some people cheering. And with the Barnaba military folks, those thugs, escorted out, you guys can pass the rest of the night without any further issues. So I'm
I'd like
curious.
a short scene.
Ooh. Yes.
I think whenever Oracle calls attention, kind of calls this out, that's whenever Osprey notices, she's wearing trendy clothing, right? Something that's a little bit pretty and all of that. And I think that at that point, that's whenever he, jet packs up or whatever the 0G stuff is, and puts a flight jacket, over her shoulders, which I think unintentionally kind of complements that, that outfit. And he's doing it to say, to show some respect or something like that. But I think it just helps in the image of what's going on.
Nice. I love it. Yeah, it's very like putting the jacket. It's got the Green Dragons logos all over it and everything, so it enhances everything. I love that. That's really cool. How do you react to that?
Yeah, I like it. I totally misread. No, I don't think I misread it. I'm good at reading things. So I noticed that he didn't mean it for me to be more glittery, but to remind me that we're a team and of the whole squad thing. So I will. Nobody said I can't promote the Green Dragons, right? So I will just stand there in my pilot's jacket and will tell everybody who's hanging out at the 0G club if they need assistance of starfightery shooting warbird variation, they might go to the Green Dragons because we are the coolest.
Oh
I
man,
might be a little drunk at that point, but only slightly.
I love it. We see like there are repeaters within because there's a little bit of a closed feed here. So some of the drone cams are showing your images along the walls here in the 0G club as you do a big advertisement for the Green Dragons, and a lot of the young, like probably never flown ever, are like, yeah, this is the best. And that is pretty fantastic. Anything else you guys wanted to do with the 0G club at Aeolus? Sweet.
I want to see that Heidi remains moderately safe, so that she doesn't get too drunk and runs off with the wrong kind of military. Maybe that she doesn't run off with the Barnaba military guys, for example, as they get escorted out. I will try to keep her from doing that.
I want to see how you're going to handle it, because I think that's exactly what Heidi's going to do, right? She's at the bar. She's wearing one of the little tags. She only gets certain types of drinks because of her age. And she's chatting with a guy who's wasn't mixed up with that squad earlier, so he wasn't thrown out, but you can see that he's got the crew cut. He's definitely a member of the Barnaba military. And the two of them are chatting and laughing, and then they start to leave. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm dragging Heidi back towards the dance area, telling her that, hey, night isn't over yet. Come on.
Easy enough with your sister, especially just because of the penumbra of your fame. But the military guy, he'll be like, hey, listen here, Warbird. She's coming with me.
Hey, listen here, person. Why do you say Warbird like it's an insult? Aren't you one of these assholes who attacked my friend earlier? Don't you have any respect for us? What are you trying to do here? Huh?
Ooh, nice. I think you need to roll. You're trying to intimidate him, right? So
I don't know. Yeah,
I think
sure.
so. I think so. So you're getting in his fame, in his face. Don't forget, you can if you want. It sounds like you're trying to use your fame, so you could use your fame in this attempt to intimidate this guy and cow him, get him to back
Oh
off.
yeah, sure. I mean, I've got fame right now. Do I spend it like I spent
You can use
before?
it. It doesn't get spent. You just take that fame rating, and once per
Yeah.
session, you can have it add to a roll.
Since
So you have
we've
a total
only
of
got
+1 because you have a -1 on mind.
yeah, good, good. And I would roll intimidate with mind.
Yes.
Okay. Can I roll it with body? No. Okay.
I mean, if you want to get a little physical with him, you can.
Yeah, shove him a bit. Like, hey.
Yeah, do it.
And oh wow, I've got 12.
That's amazing. Okay, cool. Yeah, the guy's like gets shoved back a little bit, and then Heidi is like right beside you. Then all the cameras turn on him, and he looks up and he sees himself up on one of the wall screens and realizes he has made the worst choice of his entire evening. I'm sorry. And then he just kind of backs up and he puts his hands up and then he turns and he makes a quick walk, like not running, but like the jog speed walk of getting the heck out of here. His little boots click clacking on the floor. And Heidi hugs you and she like this little like poses for the camera and she sees herself up on the wall and she laughs. Oh man, he was terrible.
Yeah, why were you going with him if he was so terrible? You might need
I
to
mean,
make better
I didn't know he
choices.
would insult you. I kind of liked him because he's cute, but I can't really hear people. It's so loud.
Yeah, these military guys, they are the worst.
Oh, Kyra's going to be so jealous.
Kyra isn't gonna care. Kyra cares about her career.
Oh, I'll make her jealous. This is the best. This is the best night ever. I'm so glad you came.
Yeah, come on, Bunny. We got to get you a little to a little dance. But I'll leave her at the dance platform and go over to Jungle Bush because I say Jungle Bush because I'm still learning how to pronounce his name. I go over and say, wow, that is a lot of fun pushing these military guys around. And I'll sit down while I say that. Like I'm a bit exhausted from all the dancing.
I answer, yeah, well, personal space. It's like you just got to respect it. Like, it's not cool. Plus,
Yeah.
they make such a big deal out of small little things if you don't say a word right or something like that. And there's a delay between like the Wookiee translation and the thing. It's like the words aren't perfectly aligned. It's like I don't have a word non-existent in basic language or something like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but I hope you're having fun nonetheless. A little.
I totally shrug and like raise my bauble of colored juice and yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so I'll just hang a bit with you. I think Osprey isn't the type who would enjoy people hanging with him. So I'm rather hanging with a Wookiee.
Yeah, I think I'm back in the corner, and the two of you are hanging out. That looks good. Yeah, no problems there.
Cool.
And I say like in Wookiee something like he's cool in his own way,
Yeah, cool is the right word. He's very good pilot. Wow. That was amazing flying. I need to learn stuff.
Cool. You guys good to bring that scene to a close? Sweet. So we do the George Lucas style scene wipe, right? And we come up with the light is very dim, and you guys are in your bunks. Turns out that this old Republic Corellian Corvette was big enough for each of you guys to get your own set of quarters. So I am curious, Osprey, what do we see in your particular quarters here on the flagship before the klaxons go on to call you guys to scramble to your fighters in the middle of the night? What does your quarters look like?
So these quarters are very utilitarian, very Spartan. Basically, there's a sleeping platform, and it has a very tightly made bed, a very ordered desk, maybe some food containers that are, stacked up in the corner, like on a cabinet or something. That might be there in case I get hungry at some point and don't want to go down to the mess hall. But very, nothing on the walls, no plants or anything like that. Yeah. And the desk, I think, has some notes and some, schematics where, it's got like a couple of pads sitting out where, he's been looking through flight plans or something like that.
Nice. Cool. So the klaxons go off, and you are awoken in the middle of the night because AWOL is actually calling you guys into service. There is a distress call from a transport freighter that is en route, and it's basically within the Helios structure. They moved out. It's not near that asteroid field, but yeah, he's calling you guys to muster up. So I also want to kind of get a look as our Iktochi Warbird fighter starts to head towards his ship. I want to get a peek into each of your rooms, and also this is not long after your 9th 0G. I'm just wondering if anyone's hungover. I know that Osprey isn't. But it's a possibility that Jungle Bush and or Oracle might be. So, Jungle Bush, what is your quarters? What do they look like?
It hasn't been a long time since we got kicked out of the Free Navy. So I had a lot of stuff in my old quarters. So in my new quarters, it's like containers and boxes and containers of stuff that I don't have enough room to unpack. So it's basically there's enough space for my bunk, and then everything else is just stacked stuff in boxes. There's like maybe like a container of rations or something open on the table, and some But
are there any like medals or anything that you receive that we might see, like the old naval?
Yeah. There's one box that I opened up because I like to remind myself of like stuff that I did in the past. And so there could be like a box open with like medals and stuff in there.
Nice.
And but it's very claustrophobic, and so there's like, and I'm huge, so it's like between the things and me, it's like I either laying down on the thing, sitting on the bed and eating, or like I just get out of here. Like,
do you fit on the bed, or is it one of those where your feet kind of hang off the end?
It's one of those that's in the wall, and I had to like take off a plate from the wall to get my feet into the crawl space between the walls to kind of fit, but it's like the best that I can do, I think.
Oh, that's awesome. So the klaxon goes on, and AWOL says, "Hey, need you guys to get up. Come on, we've got a transport under fire. Pirates are making an attack. Come on."
So I my collar, my translating collar is not on, so it's just like loud Wookiee noises, very loud Wookiee noises. And it's just like me shaking my head because I am so hungover, like
You guys show the Green Dragons. That's kind of expected. Perfect squadron. Last but not least, what about you, Oracle? What do your quarters look like? And what's the new thing that maybe you were sent home with from your big sponsorship opportunity?
Oh, that's a cool one. So the quarters, they are not very large, even if you're not a Wookiee. She didn't bring a lot of stuff with her when she came here. So she acquired some the last time, and there are clothing hanging around because she's not too orderly. There is I think some merchandise of the legendary ship that's called Blackbird, actually, by a very famous pilot by the call sign, and now I'm using the list too. The call sign was Meteor, and she is kind of a childhood hero of Oracle's. She's been gone for a while now, and I mean gone like she's missing, not dead, but she went missing during a mission 10 years ago, and she's just Oracle's hero. There is one wall that is totally clear of any kind of stuff and things hanging around, and there is a large interactive digital like map or 3D map of just the sky, the stars, for Oracle to look into, because she gets her name because sometimes she just looks to feel her surroundings.
That is
which
awesome.
is weird.
What did you say the name of the pilot who went missing 10 years ago was?
Meteor.
Meteor.
Okay.
Meteor. Okay.
And the ship was the Blackbird.
Was she a member of the guild as well, or a member of House Barnaba?
She was a Warbird. No, she wasn't a Barnaba. No.
All right. Sweet. So you also hear the notification you guys need to scramble. The flight hasn't returned from before, because it's only been a number of hours of Galactic Standard hours. So you guys are all he has. And AWOL, he is there. You can see he's got like red circles under his eyes. He just woke up too. The engineers are all fitting up, and they've already worked on refueling, but they're getting you guys ready. And AWOL's there, and he says, kids, are you good to fly? Do you need me to fly with you? He kind of gestures over towards his twin engine.
I'm good. And Oracle, she looks a bit tired, a bit exhausted, but she's not really hungover. She's got good instincts for when she needs to stop drinking.
She's smart. Nice.
Not really smart. It's just that at some point she's got enough. That's more like her listening to her body than thinking that, no, I shouldn't drink anymore. It's more like a gut feeling. She should stop now.
Nice. What about you, Osprey, when AWOL asks if you need the backup? What's your response? So he kind of leans into your opinion.
Osprey says, well, of course, greater numbers are always helpful. Do you know more about the situation? Is this, are there greater numbers where, a leader such as yourself is needed?
Oh, nice. You're buttering him up. He laughs. This greater leader. There are 4 bogies, and there's also a freighter that came along. So I think these starfighters don't have light speed drives, but it could mean that they have heavier armament. So he takes that as, yeah, you want some help. So he's going to go over and jump into his starfighter. So I think we see you guys all cockpit, the shields lowering, and then you head through the long tunnel and boom, hop out into space. You've got AWOL with you. He has his ship is pretty custom. I kind of imagine that. Well, it doesn't matter so terribly much, but I'm kind of imagining if you look on row 5 of the gallery, that middle one that kind of looks like somebody starfightered up a Millennium Falcon in a way, kind of looks like that. Actually, that's not what you chose, is it? It is. Crap. Sorry, I'll choose a different ship. So you and I.
I changed the image, didn't I?
No, you went back with that. So we'll go with on row 2, the far right one, which has the kind of Millennium Falcon cockpit between the 2 wings that come forward. I like that pick too. So you guys hop into hyperspace, so you can do a quick jump to get in. And looking at time, here's where we will bring it to a close, because I would hate for us to get in the middle of a dogfight and then have to stop. So what we'll have is just the establishing image. You guys come out of hyperspace, and the four of you see that there is a large freight hauler. It's like a heavy class freight hauler transport. Kind of looks like, for anybody that remembers our TV show from before, it kind of looks like that style. And there is a modified G-Troc freighter, which is one that carries starfighters. And then there are a total of 5 fighters that are currently kind of swarming around. You can see that the ship, the heavy transport, has just a couple remaining gun batteries as they're trying to defend themselves, but they don't have any starfighters in space right now. And that's what you guys see when we bring today's session. It's a little early, but good time for feedback and stuff like that. And again, I'd hate to be in the middle of a dogfight, have to stop and then spin back up next week. So that's our Star Warbirds, my friends. There is experience points in this game, but I am just, the experience points as defined in the game are also supposed to help you raise, I think it's like 11 different skills, which are all part of the 30-page thing that I chucked. So I'm going to give each of you guys 3 XP for today's session. Great job. And the XP will be, you can stick that on line 16 if you want to track your XP. And we'll talk about how you raise things at the beginning of next session, and then we'll jump in. So we'd love to do some feedback, friends. First of all, we start with thorns, and then we roll to roses. I will say the first thorn that just came to my mind, literally, as I said, we should talk about thorns. I never talked about the X card, and I apologize. I've played with all of you guys. I know you know that that's in effect, but it's a thing that I like to do just to model and also to stay in a good practice. So I apologize for not having reviewed that the X card is in play. And I hope you can forgive me. I will endeavor to do better. So there's that thorn out of the way. Thorns are questions about the game. Anything that I can do to improve the character sheets or the presentation for play. Any notes that you have along those lines. Anything you're like, you know what, I actually don't like that, or we don't need that. Anything along those lines, I'm very open to that feedback. So we'll start with the critical stuff, and then we'll end with the things that you liked. Who'd like to go first in our thorns?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'd like to check in and it seems like some of this Warbirds game, I'm a little confused about the direction it's heading. There's a lot of fame and what's the right word? Social aspects of the downtime in between dogfights. And I wanted to check in and see, is the way that I'm playing Osprey too counterintuitive to that or contradictive to that? Is there an issue there that I'm not getting into some portion of the game?
So for my point of view, and I definitely want to hear from Sabine and Blaze, from my point of view, no, because you're backing off from always spurning all aspects of fame. I am also interested in seeing the challenges of, like, if you refuse to do some sponsorships, AWOL is going to come have a conversation with you about that. And that sounds fun. Like, that's some fun role-playing opportunity. So it's like, you're a real good pilot, but we're more than just a good pilot, right? We are also, like, we have these opportunities, and this fame is part of what keeps us flying. So I love it. Like, to me, because I know you, Steven, like, if I were some other player, I'd be like, oh, you're kind of tamping down a cool aspect of the game. But I know that you're just indicating, hey, he's taciturn, but that's a signal of, like, I'm here, I'm showing you this little open spot, come punch me here. So I'm good with it. I really am. But Sabine, okay. Blaze, are you guys okay with it?
I am totally okay with it. I like that you play a character who isn't really interested in social interaction, but that you as a player were still playing with the social part as and not saying, no, my character stays on the ship because he doesn't like social situations. That would have been maybe a problem, but he stepped in and he was there and he stepped up when there was trouble. So I'm totally cool with it.
Okay.
It's not being a part isn't the shameless self promotion, right? So it's like you're part of the group, but you don't want to be the marketing agent of the group, which is totally cool. Like that's how I feel in real life. It's like you love the social interaction, but it's like, yeah, but I'm not a walking ad. Like I'm not a brand spokesperson. I'm an employee, or I'm a team member. So no, it's really cool.
Okay. I just wanted to check in and make sure that I wasn't, I had an image of what, and mostly it came from the picture where he looks kind of grumpy. And I was like, well, I don't see him as someone who goes out and parties and that kind of stuff. And I wanted to make sure I wasn't stumbling across someone else's character stuff. Okay.
Well, I love it because I totally see that moment of AWOL going, okay, man. So I really need you to do this thing here. I know you don't like it. You're one of our best pilots, but like that totally is coming. I just think it's great. Steven, did you have any other thorns you'd like to share?
There was the usual kind of adjustment to a new system. I've been playing with Lowell in experimental systems for like on Wednesdays and Thursdays for the past year or so, and he's cracked out all of these crazy old, sort of traditional kind of systems that remind me of how clunky things are sometimes, how crunchy things are. But I think you've done a really good job of simplifying that. So I kind of leave that towards a rose. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah.
Thank you, Stephen. Sabine, would you like to go next?
Okay, first I have to self-thorn a bit because I was really uncomfortable with the image that the Wookiee would rip off someone's arm. That is the kind of gratuitous violence done for laughs that I don't like. I mean, gratuitous violence is fine, but it needs to have weight. And I was really glad that Steve stepped up because I could feel myself kind of distancing myself. And I should have used the X card because that's what it's there for. So this isn't a thorn for you, actually, Blaze, because you were just playing your character. You didn't know how that would make me feel. So I should have just said something. And I didn't. And it worked out fine. But yeah, okay. So that's my self-thorn.
Thank you. Thank you for expressing that, and thank you for letting me know about that. I will never have a Wookiee rip off an arm in games you're in. That's good to know.
And not for laughs, please. You can totally have in a gritty situation, a Wookiee can, like when we played this Mafia thing, that would have been totally fine. But not if I didn't feel that the tone of the game was right for ripped off arms, maybe, or maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe we could have a little cats discussion next time, please.
Sounds good. Cats discussion. Great.
Yeah, because I'm not too sure about the theme, the tone of the game, because Star Wars usually is dramatic, but not too dark. But I wasn't sure here. Another thing, that's with the system. I'm not too sure what stat governs what, and I don't think that anybody does. So I don't know if mind as go-to stat for social interaction, if I'm loving that. Maybe if I'm not loving it because I'm bad at it, and I wanted my character to be socially not awkward. But yeah, well, if that's how it is, that's how it is.
So two things to respond to that. First of all, you're right. I don't think I did a good job of clarifying the map of those stats over, and I can definitely add more information to that. Second of all, if after having played it, you're like, hey, my character isn't as cool as I wanted, you can move those stats around, and that's totally cool. So I will have more information out there for you with what body, mind, and what was spirit that I renamed the Force is. And then if you want to bounce around your stats to better reflect how you see Oracle, next session, no harm, no foul. Totally swap those stats around. Is that cool? Okay, awesome. Sabine, anything else?
That's totally cool. No, I'm done. I'm sorry.
All right. No. What are you apologizing for? Blaze.
It's just an instant.
Oh, you needn't. Blaze, what thorns did you have?
I I don't think I have like Sabine's raised the point of not knowing where the things lie. So
Mhm.
in terms of the stats, it's probably the biggest numbering game that I've played with you. I think in terms of like the boxes, it's okay. I mean, we'll work through it. Yeah. So if there's a way to like be more mindful of where things go, but again, I'm not it's not. I don't necessarily need that to be like locked in stone. I'm pretty variable. And I'm really sorry for the gratuitous violence. I wasn't aware that this could be taken lightly. I won't have another scene like that. So I promise to uphold the the
That's
convention that we
totally
have.
cool. That was not on you. That was on me. So it's totally cool.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We'll stick
Good.
with you, Blaze, since you. Oh, did you have any other thorns to offer?
No. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I knew coming in that was like. So, my friend Mark Causey shared the idea. Hey, Warbirds sounds like it'd be really cool for Star Wars. I got the PDF. I read the dogfighting stuff on a flight to Minneapolis, and was like, "Oh my goodness, these dogfighting rules seem really exciting, and I love these stunts and stuff like that." And I didn't read anything else, and I immediately posted it up that night when I got in the hotel for people to sign up for the game and said, "I'll learn this game." And then this month, like end of March, as I started to make the character game, I'm like, "Oh my god, what have I done? This is so much stuff." I'm like, "Oh man, everyone's gonna hate me. Sabine is gonna shoot me." But I automated as much as I could, and I scooped out all the combat, and it's still a lot of dice. It's a lot of rules, but I appreciate you guys playing along. And I think that by session 2, in this second dogfight, things will start to get a little easier.
I hadn't. So I have a comment. I hadn't noticed until Sabine and Blaze pointed out that it was a little bit confusing about which stat went with which action. And I think that's because I play at a lot of different conventions and a lot of different systems. So I have no idea often what to roll with things. Often I lean on GMs like you, Rich, who say, "Oh, I think that's a body thing." And I go, "Great, I'm going to roll body," or whatever it takes, because I don't know the system. So, and I hadn't realized that until they very astutely pointed out, "Oh yeah, I don't know the association with those things." Yeah.
It's a good point. It really is. It's great feedback. Thanks, guys. I will definitely touch up the stats. And the thing is, I think in Warbirds itself, it's a little less important what those stats are, because they have this entire 11 skill system for doing discrete tasks. And when I pulled that out and hot swapped it for World of Dungeons, the stats become monumentally more important. And I hadn't anticipated that. And I think that's why the descriptions are a lot lighter than they probably could have been. So yeah, it's a really good thorn in the idea of me trying to kludge together an easier system, is to make sure that the stats make sense. So again, thanks. Blaze, what roses did you want to offer up?
I have quite a few. The first, I'd like to thank Sabine's character. That was a lot of fun to listen to. It's rare that you have someone who like conscience. Sorry, French is peeking in, to be very conscientious of like about being particular in stating your actual state of mind and purpose in a scene. So instead of saying these are the actions that I'm having, this is the state of mind or the meta that happens behind it. That's really cool. Thank you so much. I like your character very much. And same thing for Steven. Steven, this is not the first time that we played together, and it's always cool. I like that you interplay very naturally with my character. Like that stuff is awesome. And then for the game itself, I played Rich. Played the few last. Was it last year that we played the few? Yeah, we played the few with X Wings. That was fun, but I prefer this system to the few. I prefer like there is more greediness or more nuts and bolts to the system itself, and I found that I can see how we can as players differentiate our roles on the battlefield, like more so in terms of identities and personalities and abilities. Um, and all in all, I quite enjoy the feel and tone. Although, like we can have a conversation on tone next time to nail down exactly what we're looking for.
But yeah, great first game. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Blaze. And I'm super happy to hear your conversation about the few, because I was thinking the same thing. When I was reading Warbirds, I'm like, oh yeah, this is kind of like the few, and there's a few more tactical choices which we felt like we were lacking as we played 4 sessions of the few. So yeah, that was totally the vibe I was getting, and I'm happy to hear that that's how you see it too. Thank you, Sabine. What roses would you like to hand out?
Well, I have a lot of roses as usual. First of all, I will give 1 rose to you, Richard, for giving us another Star Wars Saturday, which is always lovely. And I really like the way you split up the spotlight. You are very good at this. I mean, I've played a lot of stuff in the last time where I felt like, oh no, he's getting a spotlight, oh, he's getting a spotlight. But here I was like, okay, everybody's getting a spotlight, and it felt like natural, and was very quick changes. Nobody got very long scenes. Everybody was just, yeah, I like the pacing. The system, yeah, it might be a little bit too gritty for me, but we'll see. We haven't played a lot with the whole options and fighty stuff, but I guess it's going to be okay. I mean, I can play gritty systems and juggle numbers. That's totally okay. It's not like I can add stuff in my head, but I'm not a tactician by nature. So yeah, that's still, how is this still a rose? I don't know, but it's lovely. It's a lovely system. And it was lovely playing with all of you. I loved the Wookiee with his voice box. Thank you for doing that and not making noises at us and telling us what it meant, because that might have been fun for about 5 minutes, and then it would have lost its charm. So that was great, and I also liked the way you all came with me to this fancy club. And the same rose to you, Stephen. I really loved the way your character was like, oh my God, I have to do this. Yeah, they're my team. Okay, I'm going to do this. So yeah, I like playing with you all a lot.
Thank you, Sabine. Thank you so much. Stephen, what roses did you have?
So I have a number, and I it's interesting, whenever I go last, whenever we talk about roses, I feel like I'm copying a lot of things that other people say. Yeah, I mean, the players are fantastic. The story that we kind of went through just now, along with the players, and you, Rich, leaned into everything I kind of wanted to see. It worked out really well. It made it feel organic and welcome. I really enjoyed that. So I've been, looking through the spreadsheet that you have, and there's a lot of work that you've put into that to make everything kind of align, and I really appreciate that. I see from time to time in playing games with the Gauntlet, I will see things like on Roll20 or in these spreadsheets where people have simplified things so much, and it's so good, because I was just looking at, some of the things like we talked about during dogfighting, during the dogfight scene that we had. You mentioned stunts, and I was like, oh, I'll go over to the rules, and there's stunts, and then I can look in the little cell, and it tells me how all that's added up, and I can see how things go. And I don't have to worry about um, other games that I've played, tabletop games I played like this. You have to say, okay, let me add up this stat plus that stat plus this, but the spreadsheet does it for us. So all I have to do is look at the stunt line, and it says I've got a 3, and it's already done all that math for me, which is a big advantage, but it's a lot of work on your part. So I wanted to say thank you for doing that. You also mentioned not going through the X card discussion at the very beginning, and I played with everyone here before, and for some reason I've played games like in the past year or so without an X card, and it made me feel very uncomfortable. And I recognized that. I didn't really notice any kind of uncomfortableness, because I knew that it would be handled here, just because maybe I made the assumption, but just because we've done it so many times before. So, yeah.
Yeah, to clarify, I didn't use the X card because I was like, oh, should you do this? Should you do this? Not because you didn't say it at the beginning. I was pretty sure that if I had said it, everybody would have respected it. That's not what I was trying to say.
And I also assume the X card was in play anyways, because it always is.
Cool. Thank you. That makes me feel a lot better. I felt so super guilty. It just, I was must make Warbirds work, and didn't even think about the safety of my friends.
I mean, you had a lot of overhead here, saying, okay, here we have to build characters. It's going to be a lot longer, process. One of the things that I noticed that I was kind of defaulting to that we can discuss at the beginning of the game next time is a little bit of the Night Witches vibe. It seemed like we had so in the Warbird system, it seems like there's a dogfighting thing and then a ground pound thing, which kind of seemed like the different phases to me, and that's kind of what I kind of adjusted to a little bit whenever we were playing. So,
yeah, that's a really astute observation. There's definitely that aspect. I actually had at the end of last year started trying to do a conversion of Night Witches to Star Wars for future Star Wars Saturdays, and it's tough, man. There's just so much that's great about that system that is difficult to translate to Star Wars that I when I saw Warbirds, I'm like, oh, close enough. Close enough. I'll make this work. I have some roses to hand out as well. A lot of things going on. First of all, like Sabine, a couple times in chat, you're like, hey, join me. They're being very welcoming. Like, other players come into my fun thing, inviting folks into the thing. Steven, your instincts of like, hey, this fight is starting to escalate, and let me offer an alternative. Let me kind of do a perpendicular action there that obviate us heading towards something that would have been unexpectedly weird. And so there's that. Blaze, I really liked the Wookiee, and I'm so glad you went with the vocoder and the idea behind him, the ex-Navy, the even buying completely into the idea of, oh, I said the wrong military, and even suggesting that to be a new scene was just such a great throughput, of this moment, and then how fame can come back and bite you. And I definitely will have a cats discussion to help make sure we're all on the same page next time around. But I really appreciate us as kind of friends and fellow gamers respecting each other's boundaries and checking in. It was really helpful to make today work. So now we are at the end, friends. Thank you all so much, and I am super excited to play with you next week as we continue on with Warbirds. Thank you, guys.
Yay.